Okay, so I was just reading this collection of short stories. Um, I just heard a weird noise. Uh, what what's this guy? What's this guy's name? I already is it Sherwood Anderson? Uh, I believe so. Yeah. Sorry. Uh, I don't. I'm so. I'm just so casual. I don't even care to remember the names of authors. But no, it is Sherwood Anderson, and it's called Winesburg, Ohio. And it has stories about living in Ohio. Um, Short stories, kind of about. Um, it's kind of a critical, cynical look at life in good old Ohio, and this came out in 1919. So, um, and Anderson was born in 1876, and so his view of Ohio was a more agrarian one. Let's see where exactly was he born? Camden. What is Camden? Okay, Camden is by Dayton, Preble County. It currently has a population of about 2,000. Let's look at this picture. Let me pull this picture up. This is Main Street of Camden. What year, though? Let's see here. This is a nice picture. I I love, you know what I really love? Um, all these like old illustrations, like bird's eye view illustrations of towns and stuff. Like this, like who made this? It's great. Um, but anyways, can we? I don't know what year this is, but basically, okay. So he's from a very small town. If it only has 2,000 in current day. Um, let's see. When he was born in 1880, well, because the census, there was 800 people. So, um, yeah, he's from a small agrarian place. This is here. Let me send this. Let me not send this picture. Let me screenshot this picture. Um, that red dot is where he's from. So this is on the Indiana border, which means, yeah, this is a more agrarian life versus if we look at, pull this up. This is going to be depressing, but I'll pull it up anyway. This is impressing and embarrassing. Let's pull this up. Okay. This is population density of Ohio. So he's from like here, like on the outskirts of this southwestern cluster. But I mean, look, this is where I live, over in this cluster. I live like, okay, so if this is the Ravenna Arsenal and this is Ravenna, I live there. Okay, so that is just depressing. I would like to, well, for some reference, I would like to find another state with the same, like, okay, we're using Tennessee. Let's see if I can find it with the same scale as this. Uh, well, I can't exactly because I want here this. I may be able to may have better luck finding one with the same scale as this. And on this, it looks less bad, but you can still see there's Ravenna right there. Um, and the population density here of Streetsboro and Aurora is significantly less than Ravenna and Kent, as you'll see. And that's because Streetsboro and Aurora have, they consolidated their entire township into their municipality. So it's messed up. Anyway, so there's that one. And let's pull up a less dense state. Here we go. Nice. So, as we'll see here, Ohio is more urban than Tennessee, but it's not. I think that this here makes it look like it must be disastrously urban, right? That's not really the case. Even up here in the Northeast, which is the most urban quadrant of Ohio, you still have like, look, this area here, rather rural. Um, this county, can I get a brush? Let's use purple. This county here is, I don't know how much I've talked about this county. This is Geauga County, and it is home to the fourth largest Amish settlement in the world. A little bit of it bleeds into Portage, and also bleeds into Trumbull, and probably Ashtabula. It's probably like that. Um, right here, oh my goodness. This is Holmes County. This is home to the second largest Amish community in the world. And so, okay, I live in Northeast Ohio. That's my region. And if you look at Ohio, right, it's pretty square. And if you go to, I would say, you go to about Columbus. What a terrible place. And Columbus is about in the middle on purpose. And you can probably cut it like that. Or you could do it more like, uh, you could do it more like directly in the middle, maybe. More like this. But either way, Holmes County will, geometrically be within Northeast Ohio. And if we go to Wikipedia, let's see what they count as Northeast Ohio. Hold this up, okay. You'll see that here's Holmes County again, and it is within Northeast Ohio. But here's the thing. I think that if you touch West Virginia, you are not Northeast Ohio. I think that you're Southeast Ohio. Okay, my cat's doing something. He's senile now or something. I don't know. So here's Columbiana County. And as you can see here, it does border West Virginia. This is the West Virginia Northern Panhandle. Now, if this is not Northeast Ohio, then, we could cut it off. We could cut off Northeast Ohio here, or like here. I mean, we could be a little bit more generous, cut it off down here. Either way, let's get a map of Holmes County. 1 second. I recently gave a tour to someone from, I think it's called Holmesville. Oh, Holmes County. What state is it? Florida? No. Sorry. Ohio. Okay, this is what I need. So let's get this picture. So, yeah, there's Holmesville. And we're cutting this off. If we go at the bottom of Columbiana County, we're cutting it off like, oh, look, Nashville. Look at that. Nashville. Oh, wow. What a coincidence, right? Mechanic. That's nice. Killbuck. I like these names. I believe that Millersburg is the biggest city. Okay, what I'm trying to say is I don't really consider Holmes County to be Northeast Ohio. What I would consider Northeast Ohio, honestly. Okay, let's see what I would consider it. Let's go back to my purple here. So these counties for sure. Youngstown is included. Columbiana County is not included. Half of Stark. Like, I don't I don't know, guys. Because I want to listen. This is an exclusive club. The fact of the matter is, this is Wayne County. This is not relevant to me at all. At all. And it's only, this far away. I don't know a single town there. Let's look up Wayne County on Wikipedia. See if there's anything of value there. Wayne County, Michigan comes up first. See, that's how you know it's worthless. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not a, you know. Okay. Oh, that's where Worcester is. Okay. Okay. So Worcester is that's one of those expensive colleges is in Worcester. Um, Population. Oh, okay. The population, the 2025 estimate is 117,000. Okay, that's pretty large. But even so, it's not relevant to me at all. So it must not be in my region. So we're cutting that off. Medina. Okay. Okay, Medina. I will include you because Medina is semi-relevant. Lorain County. Uh, we're just gonna cut it in half because I don't really know enough to say. This. So here we have Northeast Ohio. Now, how did we get here? We were talking about Winesburg, the short stories, right? Okay, let's just look. Let's just restart. Could we start again, please? Jesus Christ Superstar. Just how do I control X? Come on. Okay, that was a little bit delayed. That's all right. I want to talk about uh, what does Ohio represent at different points in time. Uh, so a long time. We're gonna set up a timeline here. I've done this with Ravenna. So we're gonna say this is gonna be kind of not like I guess vaguely like not exactly logarithmic, but like logarithm. Trying to say logarithm-esque. I was trying to make that a little bit more sound nicer, but logarithm-esque. So what we got here, 10,000 years ago. Isn't that, wait, is that the name of that track that they released on We Got a Groove? We Got a Groove. Let's see. What a great box set. Yes, 10,000 years ago. Um, so 10,000 years ago and then now, 2026. So let's start back here 10,000 years ago. So at this time, we had let's draw a little map here. Let's, how do I want to do this? Here we go. Okay, kind of. Whoa, that's ugly. That's fine. Uh, okay, this is like this. Wow, look at that. So, yeah, sorry, this is an ugly Ohio. Whoa, this is terrible. Don't look too closely at this. Wow. Wow, that's really bad. It's fine though. Like this, like that. Okay, we got the surrounding borders here. So, basically what was going on roughly 10,000 years ago, and it was on the decline at this point, but we had a glacier just, you know, over this whole area. And should I pull up a nicer map of the glacier? let's. Okay, I'm pulling up a nicer map. So it was called the Laurentide Glacier. Okay, this is telling me it's called the Laurentide Ice Sheet. This is a small picture. But as you can see, yeah, it just kind of devoured the upper Midwest and the northeast of the country. Um, I believe that we were under called the Wisconsin Lobe, Wisconsin Lobe. Let's see here. Whoa, I typed lob and it came out with labs like the dogs. I thought it was called the Wisconsin Lobe. Glacial lobes and sublobes. Let's see. They're saying that. Am I stupid? Why was I certain that we were under the Wisconsin lobe? Or like Wisconsinian? Maybe I'm stupid, guys. For some reason I was certain, whatever. We're under a glacier 10,000 years ago, basically. Um, and then at that time, the glacier is starting to move upwards. It's going back north as the world heats up. We're leaving the ice age. Well, technically, we're still in an ice age because there's ice at the caps there's ice caps at the poles. Sorry, it's like 2:15 a.m. You know, but whatever. Um, ice at the poles. Anyways, so there's a changing landscape at this time. Um, can we pull back up my map? Come on. Is there not? What is Control Y? What the heck? Okay, that's messed up. It's supposed to be Control Shift Z for redo, but whatever. Um, Something else that we have here. I will show this in green. I've talked about this before, I'm certain. This is called the Allegheny Plateau. Maybe a little bit farther up. Really only the very edge of... There we go. This is called the Allegheny Plateau, part of the Appalachian Mountains. And these two things are intersecting like this. And what you get here in the Northeast is you get a region of a glaciated Allegheny Plateau. So what this means is that we used to have more hills up here, but they were crushed by a glacier. Ice is really heavy, and it can just crush stuff. Uh, that's why the plains are so incredibly flat from the glacier. Um, Pretty cool, I guess. Pretty cool phenomenon. But I mean, I was just a few days ago. I was down in Carroll County, and we got Carroll County's about like let's go back to my 3 pixel size. So I'm like here. Carroll County is like down here, and even that much difference is like wow. It was so beautiful there. I was on 44 going north back home, and this stretch of 44 was just it was incredible, guys. You all gotta drive it. I recommend driving that stretch of 44 to anyone. Um, could be a scenic byway. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I have Ohio standards, which I don't know. Maybe it's not. What? Okay, it's Control X apparently. Whatever. Whatever. I thought it was beautiful. But okay, let's add more to here. And how long is this going? I won't make this more than an hour. We're already at 20 minutes almost. That's fine. So what this represents here is changing landscape, and that is the working title of my novel right now. The changing landscape. It represents changing landscape. Um, so we have glaciated. There we go. Glaciated Allegheny Plateau. Um, no, we'll keep it. keep it there, that big. The glaciated Allegheny Plateau, we have uh, evolving forests. So basically, um, pine trees do well in cold uh, northern climes. Uh, and so initially, as the world heats up, we have kind of like I don't wanna I want to show you guys visuals here, right? So we have like this kind of gradient thing, right, of temperature, generally. I mean, of course, elevation changes it, um, proximity to a large body of water changes it, whatever. But so we have this general gradient, and what happens is, whoa, whoa, okay, okay, this is a disaster. Never start drawing from that side, Ohio. Never do that. But basically, initially, let's imagine that there's a lot more blue up here. But it's more like this, right? And all of Ohio is in this cold climate. And let's say the glacier is like right above the blue, like where the glacier ends. Imagine that. And it moves up and it's moving up. And then when it gets to here, where we are now, uh, not this is not totally accurate. This red here, this red implies that it's like the Sahara, this in Columbus. That's not true. It's only like, I don't know, 5 degrees warmer than here, probably. But you guys know what I'm trying to say. And what I'm trying to say is that we used to have pine forests. Aren't those, listen, I'm not, uh, I'm not like an arborist, okay? But I apologize. But I think that the tree that came here first is called the tamarack. Tamarack. That was the first non-pine tree to come to Ohio. Okay. The tamarack. Wait, is the tamarack a pine tree? I told you I'm not an arborist here. So, uh, uh, deciduous? Question mark. Looking this up. Wikipedia, help me out. My videos are so high quality. I'm just okay. This is interesting. So at first we had pine trees. Because, like I said earlier, the pine trees do well in the drier, colder environments, and that's why you'll find the huge, you know, boreal forest that stretches all the way around. That's the forest, and then this is like the North Pole. And basically, the forest, if it were possible, look at this Eye of Evil or whatever, Evil Eye. Am I? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Whatever. The boreal forest just stretches all the way around the globe, pretty much. I mean, we have oceans in the way. So let's say that this is like the Atlantic Ocean, and then this is like the Bering Strait, whatever. But this is functionally one very, very large biome. So you'll find the pine trees up there. And then next, okay, so Wikipedia just helped me out with this. The tamarack, which was the first tree to move in after the pine tree, the, is a deciduous conifer. Isn't that interesting? The tamarack is now rare here, so this is why I'm like completely unfamiliar with it. But when I looked up tamarack, look at how cool this looks. I'm gonna send a picture really quick. What's a good one? This, uh, yeah, this is a good picture. Look at this. This is like an orange fall tree, but it's a pine tree. Isn't that interesting? And these tamaracks now have also moved north. So this is why I don't know anything about them. I remember one time I was at this place in Cleveland, Cleveland metro area for like the school thing. They had a tamarack there, but it was spring, so I don't know, we didn't see it like that. I would have remembered, I think. But anyway, so that's not common here anymore. And then all your normal deciduous trees move in, birch, oak, whatever. And so basically, what I mean to say, 10,000 years ago, Ohio represents change, right? This latitude, this bottom edge of the glacier, and of course, the new lakes are forming, the Great Lakes, and the Canadian Great Lakes. I like how we have the Great Lakes, they have the Canadian Great Lakes. That's kind of like the Kent Ravenna Walmart thing, where actually it's just the Ravenna Walmart and whatever. What am I saying? Okay. Now we'll move forward a little bit. Let's just do a big old section called 10,000 years ago to 18th century. So, and yeah, I won't start. Yeah, because this, like I said, it's logarithm-esque. So this is fine. Uh, Ohio was a pretty good region to live in if you are like in the Hopewell culture, if you are in the Adena culture. I'm gonna call this era a pretty good region. Um, so the world is getting warmer, unfortunately. Even at the time, it's been getting warmer for 10,000 years or more. So all the time it's becoming more habitable here. At first, it was inhospitable. People were not living here for a while after the glacier left because it was just like a barren pine forest, right? And once your tamaracks and your other deciduous trees move in, your deer move in, then it becomes a pretty good region. So no natural disasters, uh, less dangerous animals. I mean, yeah, even back then, I mean, the black bear is not really dangerous. Less dangerous animals. Uh, what else do I say we have? Like plentiful forests. Because basically, I, uh, look, I'll spare myself the embarrassment of my terrible Ohio drawings and just pull one up here. Map of Ohio. I don't like any of these. I'm gonna look up. I don't know what's gonna come up, but I'm gonna look up beautiful map of Ohio, and I'll just use this. Okay, this is apparently a beautiful map of Ohio. Whoa, I want this to be outside of there. So, wait, I should look up one specific to what I'm doing right now, which is forest cover map of Ohio. Okay. So, beautiful. 2011. So, the southeastern third, sorry, of this state is pretty much just, it is Appalachian. It's just like forests and hills without many cities at all. The only notable cities, I mean, there's Marietta, there's Athens. Athens is only notable because of the college, Ohio University. There's Ironton, I guess. And since I consider this to be southeast, you have like Steubenville and East Liverpool. And then you'll see up here in the northeast, there's another section. That's where I live in this forested area. I don't understand why there's this kind of gap there, but that's fine. And then in the northwest, I mean, there's barely any forest. Um, so listen, when I talk about Ohio, I'm mainly thinking about Northeast Ohio, but I guess I should think about it all. So, okay, I was thinking incorrectly earlier. Just disregard what my train of thought was going to be. Anyways, there's plentiful forests out here in the east, and then in the west. I won't write it because I left the text box. But in the West, they have kind of like the plains, but it's not like the Great Plains where there's no trees, or very few trees. There's still decent amount of trees. I'm gonna go into Google Maps really quick, for to show you guys an example of something here. This is why I like struggle to ever say that like Ohio is like truly like the Midwest or the Plains. Let's just drop down in a random. So, no, I want a field. I want a farmland. Whoa, stop bringing me to neighborhoods. Whoa. Whoa, it moved me over here. Move. Let's see here. Okay. So, this is in, I think, Van Wert County. What a great name, right? This is just a random road that I've popped into. As you can see, we have trees over here. Um, and it's implied, it's to be understood that if not for the farms, there would be more trees here, right? Um, Now let's go to Iowa, one of my favorite states. No, brought me to a town. Okay. Okay, bringing me to towns. That's fine, I guess. Oh, keeps bringing me into towns. Okay. We might have to kind of curate the location that we're going to. We'll curate it. Okay. So this is the picture I got here in Iowa. As you can see, there's like no trees. I mean, is that? No, that's farm. That might be trees out there. That might be trees. But okay, look. This is such a wider open area, and this is not even like farmland. This is like a meadow or something. I mean, it's probably owned by a farmer. But look, it's just like this is a different world. And these Indians that were living in the west of the state, and by the way, never mind. They had access to like a more mix of resources. They had the best of both worlds, maybe. I don't know. But they had more building materials with trees and stuff. And so their settlements were different. So basically, okay, we're at the 33 minutes. That's fine. So basically, this is what's going on. So you have something called a teepee, right? And when you have a teepee, you have these sticks, okay? They're tied together at the top like sinew. And then over top of that, you drape like a basically like a blanket. This is made of like animal hide. And this is a teepee, and it can be easily moved from place to place. Like you can stay in a place for like a few days, and it still is not like a waste of time to put up your teepee. On the other hand, we have a wigwam, okay? And with the wigwam, how will I draw this? Okay, this is like stone, okay? And then they have a dirt mound around it. And then on top of this dirt mound, they have like a teepee style thing. And then they put like grasses on top. And basically, if you are like a tribe of, like an average sized tribe out here in the east where they don't have cities like in the west, would be definitely less than 100 people, probably less than 50, probably like 20 to 50 people. If you have like a dozen guys, you can put this up in a week. So in the time that you may be staying in your teepee out west, that's the time that would be spent building your house out here in the east. And the people who lived in Western Ohio still used like wigwams. They didn't use teepees. And so they lived a slightly less nomadic lifestyle. The people who lived here, they were still nomads. Basically, they would travel by the season. But the people in the West, like the Lakota, Nakota, Dakota peoples, They could travel every day to follow a bison herd, right? And that's just not what happens here in the East. The deer will migrate seasonally and they'll set up their camp where the deer is going to be or whatever. But Ohio at that time was just, I don't know. There's not much to say. It was just a pretty good region to live in. Then we get to the 18th century. Um, at this point, Ohio is a frontier, a gateway to the west. Frontier, gateway to the west. It's a point of contention, right? Um, it's what else do I want to call it at this point? I mean, I think this is a good I think this is a good description here. So, right, we got I'll pull up another map instead of drawing one. This is like a professional, you know, I'm no, what am I talking about? This is not this is so this is this is slop, but it's okay. So, let's see here. Here we go. Map of the Appalachian Mountains here. Today, I am flying to Asheville, which is here in this Blue Ridge region. Isn't that nice? So I'll be seeing some of this mountain range here soon. But anyways, this is so Appalachian plateaus, they kind of just make this a single. And by the way, Adirondacks are not geologically are not Appalachian. They're something whatever. That's fine. So all these plateaus. Okay, so basically the settlers come over here. They come to New England. They're hanging out in New England. They're going farther down, setting up their plantations or whatever stuff happens in the South. And here to the east of the mountains, you know, there's farming, and then the Piedmont is here. And we could go in a little bit. But then the mountains kind of pose a. The mountains represent an issue. Um, so first of all, it's kind of tough to get through them, especially before. Even now, it's kind of like okay. I was looking at driving from like Asheville to like Gatlinburg, and then Asheville to Bristol, and these look like the same distance basically, but this distance is like half an hour more, and it's because you got to like go around all these mountains. So even now, it's still like a bit of an issue. Imagine how it was back then. And when you're in, it's, you know, when you're settling in these mountains, you can't really farm, okay? And this is part of why West Virginia is so poor. You can't really farm. You got to be a coal miner. That sucks. So there's no like continuity between there's not none, but there's not much continuity between the people living here east of the mountains and any hypothetical settlements here in the west of the mountains. And oh, and by the way, an interesting fact is that even native people back in the day, in the mountains here, some lived here, but their technology was less advanced because it just sucks to live there, especially in a pre-modern time. And they don't have the time to like develop new technologies and stuff because they, you know, they have to focus more on just staying alive. So the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains here are always less advanced. But why was I bringing this up? Right. So Ohio is kind of like okay, this at the time in the 18th century, I mean the glacier is already gone. So this is more like this is like where the mountains kind of end, kind of like this. Um so you know, Southeast Ohio is kind of a different world than the rest. I think I already said that, but this is kind of a different place. But here in the rest of Ohio, We are kind of this first, if you're coming from like, New England, Philadelphia, Mid-Atlantic, you're coming here. Ohio's like the first place you're coming to that's like, oh, this is where we can live again. And they kick out all the Indians from over here. They kick them out pretty much. They're all going west to the other side of the mountains. Then, when the colonizers come here as well, there's conflict. Um, there's conflict over, the animal hides, the beaver. You get the French and Indian War in the Ohio Territory. You get and this is, I mean, you get the Connecticut Western Reserve, which is just that's one of my favorite things lately, by the way. Let me just pull up a picture of that. That's just kind of unrelated. I just wanted to bring that up. Let me pull up a nice map of this. Um, where is, yeah, yeah. I've just been thinking about this lately. Um, I read this obnoxious article from this guy. He has like a blog about Cleveland or something, and he he argued that we should be given back to Connecticut, which is insane. I'm not going to Connecticut. No way. Whatever. And I like this has big Portage on it still. It doesn't have Summit at all. But anyways, so we are the West, and this is why, kind of similarly to the temperature gradient moving around and changing things with the forest, and the point of the West moves west. By the way, let me just okay, where's my Google Maps tab? I have so many tabs open. Here it is. Uh, where is the West, guys? What do you think? There's some different points we could define the West. Okay, we're gonna do a poll. Okay, everyone in the comments is gonna say what you think the West is. Okay, my first definition of the West is anything west of the original 13 colonies, and West Virginia is in there because So is this the West? My next definition of the West is west of the Appalachian Mountains. My next definition of the West is west of the Mississippi, and honestly, this is what I subscribe to. The next definition of the West is going to be like west of the plains. And then, if you're insane, well, actually, maybe some people believe this. We'll just say west of the Rockies. What is the West? Let me number these regions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you guys think? So yeah, I think it's 3 in modern day. Back in the day, it was 2. That's what I'm arguing right now. But now it's 3. Everyone in the comments, please tell me what you think. Okay. Anyways, so what is it seriously you have that few undos on here? That's insane. What? What are we doing? What are we doing, MS Paint? You have Copilot built into here, but you don't have more than like 10 undos? That's terrible. That that's shameful. Whatever. So yeah, we got the Midwest. And the Midwest is really in this number 2 region, and it's like this, right? Um let's call this region, no, I don't even know. It doesn't have to have a number. This is the Midwest, even though even by my definition, which is a bit old-fashioned, half of this is not even west at all. So this is not the Middle West. But it was at that time. Okay? So Ohio represented change. Control X, right? Yeah, Control X. Is this video slop, guys? I want to upload it anyways. People might like it. I don't know. People like my videos. At least, my friends and family like my videos. I don't know about other people. That Nubby's video, I think, has over 100 views now. I don't have a YouTube tab open to check, but that's pretty good. Not really. Not, gaming videos are disgusting. So, anyways, 18th century frontier. Then we'll go to the 19th century. Uh, what am I gonna call? I'm gonna call it like, uh, let's go back to my purple, which I'm using for some reason. Purple. Burgeoning powerhouse. So, how does that? Civil War. We were important for the Civil War, and that's just gonna be what I say for this. So basically, at this point, Ohio has been conquered. Okay, let me see if I can pull up like Ohio population over time. How far back can I go? Population over time. Uh, uh, it goes back to 1800. Okay. Here, I'll just copy and paste this into here. So look at this boom. Like, wow, that's insane. Isn't that insane? Anyways, at the start of the century, we have 45,000, and by the end, we have more than 4 million. So that's almost like a 100 times increase. Wow. Um, and here's the Civil War, of course. And basically, for the Union, we were the third most important state. We contributed the third most troops. We contributed the third most in like weapons, ammunition, stuff like that. We begin to become a sort of industrial place. This in this century we are starting to turn of everywhere is turning more industrial, of course, but Ohio in particular and the rest of the Rust Belt here is taking a big shift um, towards production manufacturing over agriculture, which we had been doing up until then. And a lot of places didn't take that shift as powerfully or as quickly as we did. So, we were motivated by the Civil War to produce more stuff. Um, Also, this is unrelated, but I got this new job. Okay, I'm a janitor with my dad at the Parker Hannifin factory in Ravenna. Um, so far I just clean the offices of the workers so far, of like the engineers and the accountants and whatever. And then I only go in the fast factory if you have to do like a guard duty shift once a month, and then you go in the factory. But anyways, I was looking into this. Parker Hannifin is number 216 on the Fortune 500 as a Cleveland company. They're kind of evil, I guess. They're making parts for AI data centers now. Um, but I don't even need to bring this up. My time is precious and valuable, and I'm wasting it on stupid stuff like this. Whatever. So Ohio is remains important, but in a different way. Here it's, if you're like a East Coast romantic in the 18th century, you may enjoy Ohio. You may like thinking about Ohio. In the 19th century, if you're into practicality, then you're going to like Ohio now. So different types of people are going to like Ohio at different times. I'd argue now we're back to you have to be kind of a romantic to like Ohio again. I like Ohio. I'm a romantic. I'm not into practicality. If I were into practicality, I would like the quote Sun Belt or whatever. Um Anyways, I don't really have a lot more to say for that. You guys get it. We're becoming what we are now, which is a fairly urban, fairly powerful state. Our GDP is what? That of Switzerland? That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Um, anyways, this actually might fit into an hour. We're at 50 minutes now. I can do the rest in 10 minutes, can't I? I, if there's just a little bit left, I will go over the hour. Okay. And then I'll go back to sleeping because yeah, got to go on a plane today. It's exciting. Actually, I'm a little bit nervous to go in the airport alone and stuff, but it'll be all right. I'll figure it out. Um, now let's just say this is called 1900 to 1960. Well, 1950. 1955. Okay. Go in the middle. 1900 to 1955. So now we are okay. We're not a burgeoning powerhouse now. We are a powerhouse. So Ohio from the 19th century, we were already, I think, the third most populous state at a point. It went like New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. And can I see, how do I figure this out easily? Uh, I'm looking at this right now, and it says that Middletown is the 16th largest city in Ohio, and whatever. Anyways, unrelated. Um, mm, State population rank over time. I don't know what rank we were. Well, I'll just look up state population rank 1950. We'll look at 1900 and 1950. Ohio was number 4 at that time in 1900. The one that moved up was Illinois. Chicago gets more populous. And then 1950 U.S. Census. We were number 5. California is now number 2. It has overtaken Pennsylvania and Illinois. So we were important. And we remained important for a long time. And I would argue we're still important, but many people don't know this or would argue against it. But anyway, so now we just are a powerhouse. Manufacturing, we're making a lot of stuff. Patents, got the airplane, people, money. This is what's going on in Ohio, right? And maybe Ohio wasn't like as glamorous as what? Okay, as like New York or California, but it's like this is a this is an important place, right? My eyes are so itchy, so I'm just busy scratching my eyes. What a terrible thing. Anyways, so we are remaining now. We're still important to like a someone who's into practicality. Back here, this basically what's happening is we change between the romance and the just kind of like logistical domination. We're just kind of changing between that. So that means that we're going to come back into power. Ohio is soon. Um, Now we're going to just say honestly, modern day, modern day. All right. Uh, okay. What are we in modern day? We're decayed. We have, I mean, economic issues, um, uh, collapsing population, embarrassing reputation. Things are not looking. This is the first time where Ohio, things are not looking up for Ohio, really. Let me draw a little diagram here of how good things are looking in Ohio. Well, okay. So this is kind of, here. This is kind of what has this is kind of what it looks like to me. It's more like this is awesome. This is awesome. It gets a little bit worse here. And then this is awesome. This is like my version, but this, this is kind of the issue. So what is Ohio, guys? What is it? Because I'm coming to realize that maybe I more so identify as maybe Northeast Ohio is just Western Pennsylvania. And I've been, grappling with this fact for, maybe about 2 weeks now. For about 2 weeks, I've been thinking about this and been upset about this because I love Ohio. I'm a Buckeye through and through, right? But it's just like, what is my state and what is its identity? And I would say until modern day, um, the identity of Ohio is a nondescript place with significant importance. Because all of these things, I would say Ohio did like the best or almost the best at these types of things. But sorry, but there were other places that were doing this. Other places had changing landscapes. Other places were pretty like a pretty good region. Other places were pretty good regions. And it's just like what is Ohio? I didn't I should come back. So this should be like the prologue to a more well thought out and planned video, like telling you what Ohio is. But at this moment, I would say, I don't know. It's tough because, yeah, the modern day has just been really harsh on the state. I mean, I love not the embarrassing reputation, but these other things, I this could be like the thumbnail. Uh, Let me screenshot this so this is the thumbnail. This could, I don't know. I like it, but the spirit of Ohio is kind of wavering. Um, and the Ohio territory or whatever has always been a little bit segmented into different pieces. Because even, I mean, basically, like I said earlier, Southeast Ohio is like a different thing already, right? So I don't really know, guys. This video was worthless and it was slop. And I was just reading that book and then I was like, I gotta talk about Ohio for an hour. So I guess that's all that the video is. Tell me what you think the West is in the comments, please. I'll do everyone tell me, and then I'll make a little I'll make a little graphic, a little chart telling us what the West is based on Yaya 5 viewers. Okay, goodbye.